marketing strategies can work, but are you working the strategy and how do we improve it? So many people get this wrong. The 4 steps that I've laid out to help you create your own marketing plan that works for you, then build out your hypothesis, your action plan. Now, I would recommend doing that for at least 3 months consistently. If you're not consistent with these things, it's going to be really hard when it comes to the data on this as to the results that you're getting from it. Hey coach, Xenia Wood here, and this is the Swift Coaches Academy podcast, created for service-based business owners who are ambitious enough to break free from the forever hustle and create scalable businesses that truly make an impact while also giving us freedom. With more than a decade of experience, we're not here to waste your time on theory. Instead, just sharing what works and what doesn't to help you get clear as fuck on your next move and show you exactly how to implement the systems and strategies that you need to scale with confidence. We are back for another episode, and the life update, as usual, first is that in 6 days from when I'm recording this, I should have settled on my 3rd property, which is super exciting and also something that I never thought that I would do, like ever. I was the kid who grew up in housing commission. I was the one who, was always saving for a rainy day, really had this like scarcity money mindset, and also thought that like you get a mortgage to then go and pay it off, and that's the whole purpose of it. And to be honest, neither of my parents growing up until I was maybe 20 had purchased their own property at all. And so it wasn't really spoken about, and finances wasn't spoken about at all. And so I didn't really understand any of this stuff. I had to go and ask people outside of my immediate family because they weren't skilled in this area to know what to do. And, purchasing my first property, I was like, awesome, that's great. And then after learning more, I was like, wow, this can be really powerful in terms of leveraging debt and being able to use the equity in your house to buy a second house without putting any money down. And there's so much to this. And I'm definitely, not giving financial advice or I'm self-educated in this space, but the power that it has and just the breathing room it's provided me to be able to have more choice in my life as a result of, in the early days, really knuckling down and getting clear on my goals financially. And that includes my business goals to be able to invest outside of my business has been really powerful. So I'm super stoked to have this property. It's in Perth, which is also wild to me. I was about to look for something in Brisbane again for my 3rd one, but then speaking to a financial advisor, he was talking about land tax, and the more properties you have in the one state, the higher the land tax is. So basically, it just costs you a lot more. So that's why a lot of people go interstate to this. So I've never seen this property. I had this wild dream last night about it, that the property was everything went wrong that could go wrong, and the people had trashed the place, and fingers crossed that that's not the case, because today they're going to do the final inspection. I've never seen it in the flesh, but obviously have seen videos. So that's really cool and exciting that you can increase your wealth and be able to leverage other people's skills like buyers agents and financial advisors to be able to fast track your journey, to be able to at some point hopefully make work optional and then do the things that you love, not the things that you have to do. So that is the plan on a personal front. But on a business front for today's episode, I was speaking to some clients recently, and even actually a couple of old clients who are now also in a similar space to me. And they were saying, what's working in marketing right now for you? I'm really struggling. The things that were working weren't working. And we sort of unpacked it a little bit. And I think it honestly comes down to the fact that so many coaches, even if they're 10 years into business, even if they've got a big team, are still being reactive and on the back foot when it comes to their marketing. And they're still throwing spaghetti at the wall, kind of trying things and half-assing things and doing a little bit and then, tapping back out. But there is a proven method to be able to make this work, and you have to create your own hypotheses and then test them from a marketing sense to see what's working, right? And so the biggest thing that I find is that most of the times there's inconsistent marketing strategies, and that's the first barrier to, or the hurdles that we have to overcome is like, firstly, like, what are you doing in marketing? What are the actions that you're taking? And then what are the results you're getting from them, right? Because if you're like, oh, I'm not getting enough leads, I'm not getting enough leads. And then I'm like, okay, cool. What are you doing? You're like, oh, I'm posting on Instagram a couple times a week. And like, I have some flyers up at the gym, let's say. And then like, I'm just waiting for referrals to come to me. That is not a marketing plan. That is like throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something will stick and crossing your fingers. And realistically, that is not doing the service that a business requires to survive. So what I'm going to walk you through today are the 4 steps that I've laid out to help you create your own marketing plan that works for you. Then build out your hypothesis, your action plan, put it into place, and then be able to review it and what data you should be looking at for that. So we're going to start with our first step, which is our marketing goals. So many people get this wrong and they talk about like more leads, and it's like, cool, but how many leads do you need? And some people may just pluck a number out of the air. We don't want to be doing that, right? We want a predictable, reliable system. And if we keep just throwing numbers out of the air, or we try these things and we're doing Instagram because we've heard it works, or we should be doing it rather than what's getting us an ROI, we need to be looking and reviewing that to make sure that we actually have a plan in place that is proven and reliable. I'm going to help you with that today. So firstly, let's get clear on the purpose of, or what we're looking for with marketing goals. We're not looking for the number of clients you get. We're not looking for the sales that you get. Okay. The reason for that is because that's the sales process, right? Otherwise, you should be focusing on your sales, right? The purpose of marketing is to generate leads. Okay. So, what we want to figure out is how many leads do you want? And if you are tracking, so inside the Biz Academy program, we have a lead to sale tracker that tracks every step of the process from when a lead comes in all the way through to when they sign up as a client. If you're tracking all of that, you can work backwards. So just for reference for anyone who doesn't have access to that, basically what we do is we start with leads at the top, we track where they came from, and then we go how many of those leads booked a call, how many showed up to the call, how many converted, and then signed up into becoming a client. And so we have all these metrics, and then it spits out some numbers for us and some percentages. So I'm going to give you some real data of what it is for me at this point in time. And then we're going to work off that so you have a bit of a framework or a structure that you can use for your business as well. So for the leads that we want to generate, we're going to work backwards from the clients that we want. So in this example, let's say I want 5 new clients this month. Okay. At the moment, my sales conversion rate is 67%. Okay. So that's from people who don't know me all the way through to people who are like really warm to me, 67% conversion rate. So it's a blend of our warm leads and our cold leads. So that's pretty good. And then, so that means that for me to get 5 new clients at a 67% conversion rate, I need 8 new appointments booked into my calendar to become a client. Okay. Obviously, that's going to mean I need 2 a week. And that is the target that we're using in this scenario. So that is the marketing goal that we've come up with. But then we also need to figure out, so that's how many appointments, but that's not how many leads. So I need to figure out my hypothesis if I don't have a way to go, well, how many leads turn into bookings, which I do for warm clients, or like warm leads. I know that it's about 50%. So I could just say that it's 16 leads. But in this scenario, I'm actually going to be reaching out to not as warm leads. So when we look at a less warm, there's about 3% roughly that end up anyone who doesn't know us who will end up buying from us. So we're going to work on the hypothesis that for me to get 8 new appointments per month, I'm going to need 50 leads per week. Okay. So that is going to be 50 leads, not leads that book in, but a lead in this situation is going to be to a free value add. So to a lead magnet. Okay. So something of free value. If I send that out to 50 people, my expectation is 2 of those people will book in as an appointment with me each week. Okay. Now that's my hypothesis. I need 50 leads to get 50 leads a week to get 2 appointments booked into my calendar per week. That's what we need to do as our step 2. So our goal is figuring out, our client number and then working backwards with how many appointments and then how many leads. My hypothesis is how I'm going to get to that goal. Okay. So when we break down the hypothesis, I think, so the 50 leads per week ends up becoming my marketing goal. But the hypothesis is, what do I need to do in order to get 50 leads per week? Okay, so these are the activities or the actions in your business that you're going to do in order to get to that result. So my hypothesis is that I am going to get 50 leads to a lead magnet per week by doing the following. Number 1 is 25 reach outs a day. Okay, so that's going to be 125 reach outs a week. You can do this in like half an hour. Obviously, you want to, there's ways, and we have methods and we have scripts and things that still make it feel authentic, and ways that you can make sure that you're not just saying, "Hey, Jane, here's my thing." You want to make it personal and you want to start to build connections. I think quality is more important than quantity in this game. So 25 reach outs a day is the first thing. The second thing is I'm going to do 3 short form videos a week on Instagram primarily, and then repurpose them for TikTok and YouTube. Okay. On top of that, I'm also going to do 2 carousel posts per week, 1 email to my email list of about 800 people per week, and then 1 podcast episode per week. So my hypothesis is doing all of those tasks is going to create 50 leads to the lead magnet, which turns into 2 appointments, which turns into, across the month, the 2 appointments will be 8 appointments. And across the month, those 8 appointments will turn into 5 new sales. Okay. So that's my hypothesis. And that's what I think is going to happen. I'm pretty, bullish on reach outs being a really great strategy. And so that's why I'm doing a lot in that department. And then I also think that some of these things will accumulate over time. Like, I'm not expecting too much from my email list at the very start, but I'm expecting over the next 3 to 6 months doing this consistently is going to reap the rewards. Okay. Same with Instagram. I'm not expecting that I'm going to get a ton of leads straight up, but I am expecting over time. And I should have added in there too, like how many stories I'm going to post. But that's my hypothesis as to what I'm going to get. Now, the marketing planning part. So this is actually when you're going to execute and do these things. So this is where you take those activities that you've created as your hypothesis and you put them into your calendar and you go, okay, Monday morning, I'm going to batch content create for the week of all these things. And then, 15 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day, I'm going to do the reach outs at 12 o'clock while I'm eating lunch or whatever it is. Okay. So that part is often missed. So people have a really great plan and they love the planning because the planning feels good to us and it feels decisive, and we're making these decisions and we feel really great. And then it comes to executing, and often coaches fall down because they have paying clients that they need to see and things they need to do, and they forget. So I know it may sound a bit like rudimentary, but putting it in your calendar and choosing and making it a making it a commitment to do this, just like you would with a client session where you are allowed to reschedule, but you do not cancel it, is the key here. Because if you're not consistent with these things, it's going to be really hard when it comes to the data on this as to the results that you're getting from it. Okay. You can still track them. It's just going to make it harder for you. Okay. So if you want help with that marketing planner in terms of like the activities that you do, So the hypothesis that you're creating, and then putting it into your calendar. And we have like a tick box template of how to do it and all the different activities and ticking it off and making sure you're getting it done and making sure you're reviewing it every day. Then there's going to be a link in the show notes for that marketing planner. You can just grab that and start using that in your business now, because the biggest thing that I see as the hurdle for most coaches is consistency with this stuff. Okay. So once we've nailed that consistency and we're executing, we're doing it, or even if we're, 80% there, whatever it is, then our step 4 is going to be our marketing review. Now, my plan is to review our insights every month, worst case scenario, ideally every week, and then iterate based on these data and insights. Okay, so every month I already have a time blocked out in my calendar to check what the data is telling me. And so I'm not going to change the strategy for at least 3 months. Marketing is something that takes time and consistent effort, and it compounds. So the first week you might get nothing. The second week you might get nothing. The third week people are like, okay, like I'm keen on this, right? They're seeing more of it. And you've just got to remember, like, you're posting on Instagram, let's say 5 times a week, but maybe 15% of your audience are seeing that, which is why I'm using a multifaceted approach of email, podcast, social media, and reach outs as well, so that everyone is hopefully seeing at least once, twice, maybe 3 times this free lead magnet that I'm speaking to. Okay. So that's our review, our insights on our data. Okay, I'm not changing what I'm doing in terms of the bigger strategy, but I will edit, maybe the hook on the post or the headline on the email subject to try and increase some of the things that I'm seeing, like open rates or view time on certain videos. Okay, so with our marketing review, what I've done is I've just listed my marketing hypothesis activities down the side. So the reach outs, the short form video, the carousels, the emails, the podcasts, and then the Instagram stories as well. And then next to all of those, every month as a minimum, I'm going to look at, well, how many views did they get? How many leads did they generate? And how many calls were booked off the back of that? Okay. So views is obviously eyeballs on them. You'll be able to track this through each of your platforms. And you may even want to break it down and go, okay, which carousel or which reel performed the best? I'm going to focus on creating new content more similar to that. Okay. Or what did they have in common? And then the leads generated, the people who downloaded the freebie, and the calls booked, obviously calls who booked, who also downloaded that freebie. Okay. So that is our 4-step marketing plan, so that we can stop throwing spaghetti at the wall and actually have something that sticks. I'm just going to go over it again just to remind you. The step 1 is our marketing goal. So we're trying to figure out how many leads we want, because obviously we want to reverse engineer in terms of like how many sales or clients we want, but we need to work on leads, because the marketing activity is a lead generation activity. It is not to get its purpose is not getting sales, because your sales process may be the issue if you're getting lots of leads but not getting sales, right? So if we need to focus on that, then obviously your data in your lead to sale tracker, if you've got one, should be tracking that. We also have a metric tracker. So I wasn't going to do this, but I will also pop that in the show notes below. You can grab our complete metric tracker and you can track your lead to sale process all the way through as well, and see, what percentage your sales conversion rate is based on your past history of your data. So step 1 is those marketing goals. How many leads do you want? Step 2 is your marketing hypothesis. What are the activities that you are going to do that you believe will get you to the goal of the leads that you had? Number 3 is our marketing plan, putting it into your calendar. And number 4 is our monthly marketing review, seeing what's working and what may need iterating. Now, I would recommend doing that for at least 3 months consistently, gathering all the data. And you may notice that all of your leads come from the direct reach outs. And so maybe you put more time and effort into that and less into some of the other strategies, right? But I do think a lot of people will do this and go, oh, it's not working. But realistically, we want to also look at the messaging behind this. Yeah. Marketing is one point in terms of getting it in front of people. But then if your messaging can be really compelling, we can increase our conversion rates on that too. So hopefully that's helped you today to get a little bit more clarity on what businesses are doing in terms of their marketing plan to make sure that they're tracking metrics and it's not just randomly posting on Instagram. You've actually got some sort of methodology that you're following so that you can tell what's working for you in your business. Okay. It's going to be different for everyone. And some people will really crush on Instagram and some people will be really great at email or whatever. So it's really important that you track your data and then you keep updating and iterating it. I cannot stress enough how important it is to have a marketing plan, to create your hypothesis, to have those goals, and then obviously, lastly, to review it so you can tell what is and isn't working and what may need to be updated and edited, because all marketing strategies can work, but are you working the strategy and how do we improve it? What are the people at the top doing in that specific strategy that we're not doing that we could perhaps integrate or implement? And that will be all for today. So if you wanted that free marketing planner, that will be in the show notes, as well as the metric tracker from lead to sale. So click on those, get instant access to those. That's my gift to you for listening to today. Enjoy. Hey, coach, before you go, the reason I do this every single week and the reason we've been able to surpass 100 episodes is because of you. So thank you. We're on a mission towards never seeing another coach leave the industry because they didn't have the skills or the confidence to scale. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that before you forget. I read every single one of the comments and share as many as I can. So if you found this episode valuable, sharing it with a friend who might be able to benefit from hearing it would honestly mean so much to me. Until next time, and in whatever you do, move swiftly.